The Auburn Tigers finally get a win in conference play. They win 33-24 against Arkansas.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. The Auburn Tigers finally get a win. 33-24 over the Razorbacks against a team that was not very good, but Auburn found a way to win. And honestly, like for the first time we've seen this year, actually battled a little bit of adversity, which is good, which is great. And all we heard all week, and I bought into it, I agreed with it, saying, oh my goodness, yes, Auburn's defense is good, but what can this Arkansas offense do? What they've been able to do against everybody. And Auburn's defense continues to just say, hey, yeah, whatever your average points per game is, you're going to be maybe close to 2 touchdowns under that. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what DJ Durkin and this defense has done, especially in the second half with forcing turnovers. That's not typically something that we see this defense do a ton, but they force turnovers, including scores. And that lines up with my biggest question for this team all season has been when it's close, when it's competitive in the final minutes, and whether you need to hold on to a lead, hold on to a win, or fend off, the momentum from the other side. Who's going to be that guy? Who's going to be that guy that says, hey, I'll finish this. I'll close it out. A lot of that attention's been on the offense, but it's kind of been on the defensive side too. And Rashawn Pleasant said, I've got this. I've got this. Hey, offense, you can't score touchdowns in the second half. We'll do it for you. And that was great. That was awesome. And it's super, super exciting that Auburn won, for sure. Xavier Atkins has become one of the better defenders in the SEC. Incredible. I mean, he has been absolute money. But the story of this is Jackson Arnold getting benched with 40 seconds left to go in the first half. And what does that mean for the future of this program? I don't think you can go back to him. I don't think you can go back to him anymore. That'll be a discussion, obviously, throughout this week. But at this point, I would be surprised if Jackson Arnold played another snap for Auburn. I'd be shocked. And a lot of it has to do with what his head coach has put all of these guys in situations to do, which is when something's working, they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. I mean, even when Auburn was in a spot to take the lead, and one of the drives that ended up at a field goal, it's first and goal from the 9 or 10, and we were joking on the Barn live stream where it's like, well, he's going to throw it, and he did, and then he's going to run it on 2nd and long, and then 3rd and long, they ran it again, and then it set up 4th down, and then they jumped off sides, and then they had to kick the field goal. I don't know what it is about Hugh Freeze and this offensive staff and the play calling, but that was my biggest concern going into this was, yes, Arkansas has a lot of weaknesses, but Auburn doesn't seem to call plays based off of opposing weaknesses. When Arkansas punched back and it was then became 10-7 at the beginning of the game, and then Auburn goes out there and just throws it 3 times in a row. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then you run it over and over and over again. You get into the red zone, and then you give Jackson Arnold an opportunity to throw a pick 6. It's just like, what in the world? Thankfully, and a lot of people are excited with what Ashton did in the second half. I'm like, yeah, 6 for 8, 77 yards, and we didn't score a touchdown. He didn't turn it over. And he had some good rushing moments, including the 2-point conversion there. But I mean, it didn't blow me away. I don't think there was this dramatic. I kind of got chewed out a little bit by some of the chat when we were live over on the Barn, but I don't think there was this massive difference. I just think they took a little bit of the RPO stuff away and it was more just called stuff, which I kind of still think is the move. And that was my biggest thing is like, okay, well, if you're going to call stuff different for Ashton, like, why don't you just call it different for Jackson? It's like that's something that I don't love, but this puts you in a situation now for all the folks that were like, okay, the season is going to be over. And it doesn't have to be. And I know so many people wanted Auburn to lose this game so Hugh Freeze would be fired. I don't think this changes that. And I know there's this emotional bump that if you do it in the middle of the season, but like, I'm not sold Cohen would have done it tomorrow. He might have if they got blown out, but like, I'm not sold. I'm not sold John Cohen would have fired Hugh Freeze tomorrow if they had lost this. I just don't. I think if you wanted to fire him in the middle of the season, you had every reason to do it last week. I do think he will eventually get let go unless they win out. I don't think anybody here or in this chat expects Auburn to win out. However, I think it would be great if Auburn won out. That'd give you somewhat decent resume, strong into the season, maybe gives you some positive momentum going into next year. But I don't think we're all expecting that to happen. So for all the folks who are like, ugh, I wanted Auburn to lose so Hugh Freeze would get fired. I don't know if those things are entirely the same. The offense still is a problem. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. The offense is still a problem. Zach Dixon putting up some of the quotes that we're getting in real time. This was from Ferg. Hugh Freeze postgame. I love Jackson, but Ashton has a poise about him. That's what we need. That's what we need. And like, I mean, very rarely are backup quarterbacks getting the same treatment in practice as far as prep goes. And so, that's why a lot of times when backup quarterbacks come in, they look bad. Is one, they're the backup for a reason. And two, the game plan is not built around them. I do think Ashton will look better if he has a full week of running the full offense and being a part of the game plan, which if Hugh Freeze is saying that post game, I'm assuming that he'll be the starter moving forward, which is good. I think that's a good thing for sure. And then Zach is saying it was Hokinson, not Ferg. So I just want to make sure credit is due. Thank you, Zach, for sharing that. That's good. That's good. You got a great first name too. You spell it wrong, but you got a great first name. Outside of that, like, it seems like Cam Coleman's injury in the first quarter wasn't too bad. I don't love that they put him back in, but I'm glad that they let him kind of prove that injury is not going to be too bad. I mean, one of the best catches I've seen in this season. I mean, he was incredible early on. I hate that he got hurt, and maybe that would have helped the offense some. Obviously, it would have helped the offense some for sure. Eric Singleton had that one big play from Ashton, 48-yarder. That was exciting. But still, like, no scoring in this. Like, I think the defensive prowess and their turnovers and them capitalizing on it is making us feel a little bit better about the offense in the second half and making us feel a little bit better about Ashton in the second half. But, I mean, a lot of people are saying he's more composed. I'm like, I'm not going to push back a crazy bit on that. But there were still times where, like, he should have gotten the ball out quicker. I mean, it's the same stuff. Like, I didn't think they looked that different, to be 100% honest with you. But the offense was built around Jackson. It wasn't built around Ashton. We'll see a game plan built around Ashton this week. And so the fact that it's close makes all of y'all's points, which I think is good. I think it's good for Auburn. And it'll be against a very beatable team, Kentucky. It'll be a night game in Jordan-Hare. Like, that could be a pretty cool environment for it to be two teams with, like, not great records and a lot of losses in the SEC. That could be pretty cool. So we'll see. But I do think there's going to be interesting expectations throughout the fan base as far as who's going to be super high on Ashton. Like, I'm seeing some folks say, like, hey, we've got a quarterback now. Like, well, let's hold on. Like, let's see how different it looks. But I hope you're right. I absolutely hope you're right. Auburn wins 33-24. I think we got a few more takeaways coming up, including what does Hugh Freeze's timeline look like moving forward? And, oh my goodness, Jeremiah Cobb, you are so good. That's next right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda's moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. These are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep the game moving forward. I'm going to say like Cam Coleman's touchdown grab, where the ref is standing right there, the defender's draped all over him, and he's like, I'm not going to throw the flag. Why would I throw the flag? And then he realizes Cam Coleman caught it. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, Cam Coleman, how did that even happen? When you're following what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. FanDuel is off on this one, folks. All week, that line went more and more in the direction of the Arkansas Razorbacks. And thankfully, that was wrong, which is very, very exciting. There is no line for Auburn and Kentucky yet. I would guess Auburn will be close to a touchdown favorite. That is, once again, my guess on that one. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app and get started today. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. First things first, I see people talking about it in the chat. Did y'all know that Kel Ellis is 17? Did y'all know? I'm joking. I'm looking forward to seeing his numbers. I mean, it seemed like he did a good job, which is awesome for the future of this program. I already mentioned Xavier Atkins. I mean, unbelievable job. But like Jeremiah Cobb, we kind of asked, like, what kind of workload can he handle? Jeremiah Cobb had 28 attempts. 28 attempts. He had 28 carries for 153 yards. He had 120-yarder, but a lot of it was just 5 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 5 yards. And I think if Hugh Freeze calls things more conservatively, more correctly, I think that's going to be something that, that could have been even higher, which is awesome. So props to Jeremiah Cobb, obviously. Also liked the little bit that we saw of Omar Mabson, which was good. Thought it was cool that they threw one to him as well. We saw a lot of them early. I kind of thought we'd see more of them kind of spread out throughout the game, but that is okay. That's okay. As far as what's the future for Freeze now up to this point, like I have a hard time seeing him get let go tomorrow because of this game. I had a hard time seeing that with this anyway, just because I don't think John Cohen wants to fire him. Like, just to be 100% honest with you, I don't think he wants to, which is fine. Like, you want to be loyal to the guys that you hire. I get it. But it sounds like he was really came into the defense of Freeze throughout this week. So we'll see kind of what happens with that. But I mean, I'd be surprised at this point if they moved on from him tomorrow. I don't know if that was the original plan anyway. I've been told so many different things by people who are usually nails when it comes to sourcing and you know, when stuff is going to happen. So I'm interested to see, like, a lot of the people are saying at the end of the season, and then a lot of people I've heard are going into the bye week. So, which would be after Vanderbilt 2 weeks from now. So, like, could you do it after a loss to Vandy in 2 weeks? Possibly. But man, what if Auburn beats Vandy and all of a sudden you're on a 3-game winning streak going into Mercer, and then it's like, okay, you host Alabama, which I think would be a super interesting situation. So I have no clue. About the timing of all of that. But it is interesting. But you got to think it won't be tomorrow now because of the win, which is great. Somewhat disappointed with how many folks are like upset that this was a win. Not surprised by it, but these kids that we like supposedly support, like, they've worked their tail off and they've had their hearts ripped out with us. Like, you think we hurt after watching all these close losses? Like, these kids that we supposedly support and love and cheer for, they finally get something good to happen to them, and they finally get to go into a locker room after conference play and celebrate with each other. I'm a little surprised by how many Auburn fans are kind of like shaming each other for being excited, or saying, oh my goodness, we should have lost. It's a weird take. It's a very, very strange take indeed. So Auburn wins 33-24. Other takeaways for me, I mean, it all goes back to the offense. It all goes back to the offense. I mean, this Arkansas defense, historically bad in conference play. And I think that the fact that they didn't score a touchdown in the second half is embarrassing. And I mean, I said it a ton throughout the week. Like, I am dreading that we spend all week talking about how bad Arkansas's defense is, and we go out and we score, 13 points. Which I guess is it fair to give 10 points to the defense? I mean, obviously the pick six and then the pick return that wasn't or the fumble return that wasn't a score that resulted in a field goal. I feel comfortable giving 10 points to the defense. So, like, you still only scored 23 points as an offense against a historically bad defense. Like, that is not great. V saying defense was responsible for 13 of the offense's points. I don't think that's a crazy take at all. And so then it's like, all right, you scored 20 points on offense against a really, really bad defense. And that's just something that isn't going to get any better. Kentucky is still bad, but their defense isn't as bad as Arkansas. Vandy's defense is pretty solid. Mercer, whatever. And then, Alabama's balling. We'll see what they do against South Carolina. Is that right today? I think that game just started. So that was the easiest conference game you'll have, I think, as far as the fact that Kentucky's at home makes me think Kentucky is more gettable than Arkansas. So I'll say second easiest game in conference play. So, like, what do you do? What do you do moving forward? That's tricky for sure. Thomas Dickey with a point of Arkansas only scored 17 points on offense. That's true. And so, like, offensively, it was 20-ish to 17. And that's usually where Auburn scores have lived. But we'll see if Auburn's defense can stay opportunistic moving forward against some of these quarterbacks that they're going to play, or really just Kentucky's quarterback. Against Diego Pavia, you're going to have to outscore him. And I like Auburn's matchup defensively against Vandy, but like what Auburn had last year, like they couldn't score. They couldn't score against Vanderbilt's defense. Are they going to be able to do it with this offense? I'm not sure. This defense is so good. It's so good. I hate that it's being wasted. All right, I'll try to get to a few questions or comments if y'all want to drop them in the chat, and then I'm gonna get on out of here. All right, so here, like, I like the win, but I don't know. I still want a new head coach. I think both of those things can happen, and like, I don't know why. I don't know why we're stuck in this rut where, like, Auburn had to lose out in order to fire Freeze. I think that's an interesting mindset that, like, you're not alone in. I just think that's interesting. I don't know. That's just odd to me. Will Ashton be better than Arnold? I thought they looked pretty similar. I know a lot of people are getting really aggressive when I say that, but I do want to add the caveat, like, the offensive game plan was built around Jackson. Jackson took more reps with the ones and has for the last several weeks. I think Ashton getting more reps with the ones this week and them building a game plan and preparing Ashton, not preparing Jackson, and Ashton watching them prepare Jackson, I think is good. Zach says 6-6 is best case scenario. So that would have us beating Kentucky and Mercer and then losing to Vandy and Alabama. I would disagree that it's best case scenario. Might be the most realistic scenario. I don't think realistic and best are the same. But that's just semantics, I guess. Tanner says, excited to see who gets first team reps in practice. I mean, I don't know how you can go back to them now, especially when, like, there's supposedly been that spark. And then you had that comment. Hugh Freeze had that comment. That somebody quoted that Hokanson said on, like, the TV broadcast about how I love Jackson, but Deuce has that poise about him. I don't know how you could say all that and then kind of revert back. So I expect it to be Ashton. I also kind of get the feeling that they wanted to pull Jackson against Mizzou, but the stuff that happened offensively, like it wasn't really Jackson's fault. A lot of stuff against Mizzou. And so as soon as he threw that pick, it's like, okay, all right, let's pull him. One time asked, how is Preston Howard still playing? I think that's a great question. Missing blocks. It's like every target is a miss. It's very strange. I know we're thin in that room, but to tell me Ryan G couldn't do that, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm with you. T.A. Irvin. Ashton, when he runs, looks like Cam Newton when he runs. Okay. That Cam Newton was very good, for sure. For sure. Yeah, a few comments about the tight end room. Like, you know, I think they really expected Rico Walker to be a big part of that tight end room. And so when he transferred, they were not expecting him to transfer. And so I think that threw some things off, and they didn't go get anyone else in that, you know, spring portal window, which is strange, but they must have felt good with Preston Howard at the time. A lot of people talking about John Summerall. I'm not going to do a lot of the other coaching stuff, guys, until Hugh is fired. That's just kind of a stance that I've made. But John Summerall's a good coach, for sure. I definitely understand why Auburn fans would be excited for that if that were the case. James Scott says Atkins is a monster. There's no question about it. What did he end up with? 13 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, quarterback rush, and a forced fumble. That's crazy. That's hard to do that in the video game. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Nava Reptile says 2 words, Kel Ellis. Did y'all know Kel Ellis is 17? Did y'all know that? Youngest player in the FBS. I'm excited with what I've seen from him. Absolutely. One time saying I'm happy for McPherson. Big, important bounce back performance for him. Well said. 100% agree. 100% agree. This about says it. She says Cobb, Pleasant, Alex, Xavier. That about wraps it up. If you want to put Cam Coleman in there for his first quarter touchdown catch, if you want to add him to that, then yeah, I think we're about there. So, guys, thank y'all so much. Please like this video. Please subscribe. If you're tuning in on audio, please subscribe and leave us a review. It helps the show out a ton. The Auburn Tigers take down the Arkansas Razorbacks 33-24. We'll see you tomorrow. Daryl and I will drop a Sunday morning reaction show, so be sure to tune in to that. We haven't done one after a win in a while, so that's coming up tomorrow morning. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.